gentlemen, I got your attention. We are Legios Secunda Augusta, we are Lugus Augustus, and this is our Gladiator show! The term Gladiator. Gladiator effectively means sword fighter, sword. However, as you can probably see, I haven't got a sword. I've got a net and I've got a trident. And that's because there were lots of different types of gladiators. Yes, you had the sword fighters like the Milo, the Secretors, the Provocator, but you also had other styles like me, the Retiaris, fighting with the trident and the net. You had spear fighters like the Hoplomachus. You had bow and arrow gladiators like the Sagittarius. Two-handed swordsmen like the Democrats. You even had gladiators who could fight in chariots, yes, Nari. There were lots of different types. And it's because it wasn't just about two guys standing in the middle of the sandy pit and having to go at each other. It was all about variety, because the main thing was entertaining all of you. Now today, let's say you want to go to a football match. You might drive maybe 1-2 hours or so. The journey's not too bad. There were a lot of amphitheatres, but they were still quite scattered about. So if you wanted to go to see one of the games, it could be that you're travelling maybe a day, maybe more. If the games then were over in an hour and the fight was pretty boring, you're probably going to think that it wasn't really worth your time and it wasn't worth your energy. The games themselves were quite political. It was a chance, let's say, for members of the political class, politicians, it was a chance for them to gain favour with you. In the hope that if they put on some really successful, entertaining games, you all go away really happy, and when the elections come, you end up voting for them. These people would pay a lot of money to put on games like this. We're talking about potentially, in real terms of money, hundreds of thousands of pounds. People did go bankrupt because of these games. They were trying to make them so lavish and exotic and entertaining. Now, the editor of the games for here is with us today, and he's decided to grace us with his presence. He wanted the best of the best. We weren't here last year. He wanted the best.
Chichester and Priory Park.
Was no option.
Ah, you can head on down,
the
Kerry.
tariffs have got involved, and you're stuck with us, I'm afraid. So please, let's give a big welcome to our editor, Donatus Trumpus.
Yeah, I nearly hit as well, Kerry.
Alright. He's obviously practicing his policies. When our editor decides to join us, he will take his seat of privilege there and he will oversee the games. He basically has the main decision of whether gladiators live or die. But although he has the main decision, you will influence it very strongly. And again, he wants your support. If there's been a really good fight and you're really happy with the loser and you're all voting for him to live, if he decides that gladiator is to die, he's going to make him very unpopular. Here we are, Donatus here. Let's give him another round of applause. Are you ready, sir? Just take your seat. Now we talked about the games being entertaining and them not ending in about an hour or so. As far as we can tell, the games could last at least a day, maybe more. When the Colosseum opened,
Yeah, Kerry, I haven't got any camping suggestions like he's come the farm up by Slindon.
The day of the games can almost be
Expect
split
you have to book that.
into 3 sections. You've got in the morning, and then midday and noon. In the morning, you might expect to see displays of animals, animal hunts. This was a chance for you to see ferocious lions and vicious tigers, bear, elephants, ox, deer, alligators, any kind of animal. And it was a chance for Rome to kind of show off that not only did it have control over most of humankind, it had control over nature, its very self. In somewhere like the Colosseum, you could see an entire forest rise up from the ground, animals released from beneath the surface,
Yes, you asked for that, Kerry.
wandering about, and then
Literally.
people going in and hunting. Now the question for the kids today, do you want to see a
It's not the
lion?
weather for it today, is it, Kerry?
That was a bit rubbish. I said, do you want to see a lion? You want to see a lion? We haven't got one. Again, there were examples when games were organised and the animals either couldn't be captured, they got lost in transit, or they died beforehand. We sadly can't kill a lion because it's something called RSPCA, so we're going to move on to the next bit, which is the midday part of the games. Now, in midday, it's kind of 12, 1 o'clock or so, this is normally a good time that people are going to go and get some food. Go to the toilet, have a look around the market, that kind of stuff, because this is when Rome carried out displays that really gave the games their bloody reputation. This is when you could expect to see slaves fighting in their hundreds in some mass mocked battle. It's when you might see some of the executions, and it was a chance for Rome to carry out part of its justice system as well. You could be sentenced to ad gladium, which was dying in the arena by gladiators, or ad bestium, which was dying and being torn apart by some of those wild animals. Now, before we get on to that actually, we've got a little treat for you today. Gladiators were extremely well trained. They would spend years practicing and training. It wasn't just a case of they were given a weapon and sent straight into the arena. They had to prove themselves. And it was difficult and it was strenuous. But the way that they did it possibly was through training and games. A gladiator sport is called a ludus. Get a modern term called ludology, which means basically learning through play. So what we have with us is we have a brand new gladiator. We have a Noxus here. We have Tiberius. He sold himself into the gladiator school. He fell into some debt. And we're going to try and train him up. Now we're going to play a game here. We're going to do 3 rounds. I'm going to have a spear. Tiberius here is going to have a sword and shield. He's got to try and get past my spear, and if he hits me with the sword, I've got to do 5 push-ups. If I manage to get through the shield and tap him with the spear, he's got to do 5 push-ups, and we're going to do best of 3. Would you like to see this as a little bit of light entertainment? Okay. Oh, and I need to take this off when we're combating because otherwise the sound people are going to punch me. Which means fight. So on the count of 3, I want you all to shout nice and loud, Magnate. You ready? 1, 2, 3. One more round? Hey. Hear me? There we are. So we think the gladiators could have trained like that. We have some evidence for set maneuvers, encounters, almost like patterns of 1, 2, 3, and ABC, almost like patterns in modern day martial arts. We don't know for sure how they train. We don't know for sure how they fought. It's about just putting what evidence we have together to basically make our best interpretation. So now going to the midday part of the games. I talked about criminal and slave execution. Well, we've got one here for you today. Can you please bring out our slave? That's it. To the winning sport. Now, there are a few ways that we can, dispatch her. We could, for instance, have a fight in a mock battle, and there's not enough slaves for that. We could have a fight in some mythical duel. We could maybe have her be torn apart by that lion, if we have it. We could even maybe just crucify her. And while she's up there, light her on fire, like a human torch. However, our editor here hasn't paid for any of that, so we're just going to simply stab her in the throat. Soldiers, when you're ready? Actually, hold on. I've got... Are you... Huh? Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Do we leave her? Well, let's ask the audience here. You want her to pop it right now, or should we try and, I don't know, train her up, see how entertaining she is a bit later on? See, now this is, now. You're all shouting. The editor can't make any sense of that. So, we're instead going to do something with our hand. Who thinks that this is live? Yeah? And who thinks that this is die? What have I told you? That is actually probably the other way round. This potentially means put your sword in the sand. Sheath your sword, let them live. The thumbs up potentially means go for the throat, jugular. So, if you want our slave to live, tell the soldier to put his sword in the sand. If you want her to die, tell him to cut her throat. Okay, the editor's made the decision, and she's going to live and fight another time. We're going to train her up. Okay, let's get her out,
News to me as well, Holly.
So, we're now going to come to the afternoon part, and this is when you would see the main gladiators. Like I said, it's not about two guys standing in a sandy pit having a go at each other. It is about entertainment, it's about excitement, but also it's a lesson in morality and
Roman
bravery
Gladiator
to war.
reenactment.
To really emphasize this, I need a volunteer. Preferably, I need a dad. Yeah, you sir? Cool. Hello, what's your name? David. Good to meet you. Cool.
Lisa.
Duartus, the Gladiator! Now, what's going to happen to Duartus is we're going to have a fight, okay? We're going to go over what it means to be a gladiator. But beforehand, there are a few formalities to go through. The first one is called the pompa. It's where we get the pompous from. It's about showing off. It's a chance for the gladiators to parade around the arena, show themselves off, take in the applause and also the boos of the audience. So what I'd like you to do, Duartus, is just take a walk around the arena, take in the cheers, take in the boos, show yourself, show the muscles, show us the gun show. You might be cheering him, you might be booing him, because you probably betted on whether he is going to win or lose. Good, just stand there. Alright, now we come to the second part, which is called the armatorum. It's basically the inspection of the weapons. We would have a ref, and he would basically make sure that the gladiators are equipped with the right shields, helmets, weapons, and if not, they basically got a scolding and had to go back inside and grab the right stuff. So we're going to do that. We're going to do the inspection of the weapons. Now basically, actually I'm going to pin you, I'm going to stand you that way so that I can still talk into the speakers. They say that there is no greater power in the universe than the power of the imagination. So, Duartus, I want you to have your imaginary sword of legend in your right hand and your impenetrable shield in your left. Great. Now, I don't have an imagination, so I'm going to use these, okay? Now we come to the fight. Again, the order would be given by the editor of Pugnate, and the fight would begin. So Duartus, you've got your sword and you've got your shield. Brilliant. I've got mine. Are we ready? Alright, editor, on your order. And we would start fighting! Now, could be that you and I have had a few fights together. Gladiators didn't just fight one fight, and if they lost, they died. We have a lot of evidence that gladiators won a lot of fights, but they could also lose a lot of fights. They could even have a lot of fights to draw. It might be you and I have had a rivalry. We fought each other before. We know how each other fights.
He does, yeah.
It could be that you know my initial attack is a straight lunge with my trident. You could try and brace it and take the impact like a powerful gladiator, but also experience might tell you you want to maybe dodge to your left. So if God comes in, good. Now you might know that I'm also quite a sneaky fighter. So after you've dodged my trident, you've still got to worry about my net. Part of my tactic is maybe to go for the head, hit a great big head sweep. So again, you may try and take it, but this could have lead balls on the end of it. You may not necessarily want to get hit by it. So having a quick big low duck, nice, is going to prove good. However, that's not it. Again, I could be a sneaky fighter. Once I've done the head and you dodged it, you might remember that in the last fight, I went for your legs and tripped you up. So after that head, you may also want to do a big jump. now let's say that we've been fighting a few minutes, and for whatever reason, it could be the sun just caught you the wrong angle, it could be a pretty lady in the audience just caught your attention for that split second, but for whatever reason, I've managed to get in between your defence and give you a mortal blow. This then brings us to the next part of the downside of being a gladiator, and that's the dying. But it's not that you are just going to crumple down into a pool of your own blood and guts. You are basically going to show us how a Roman is meant to face danger and death. Okay? So you are going to give us that brave, defiant death. You're basically going to give us your best death. Okay? I'm sure you've done it plenty of times before, so it's no problem. What I'm going to do, I'm going to lay out your blood. There we are. So, when I give you that mortal blow, I want you to, like I said, give us that great big lesson in standing the fight against death, but the inevitable overcomes you, and you eventually fall and die in your own blood. Are you ready? Are you ready? Yeah. Alright, so I've managed to get in between your shield, give you that mortal blow, go! He's trying to stand still, he's trying to, but no, he's just gone straight down. You may not want these. So we'll give it back to you in a second. Okay. Now, our gladiator here has taken a mortal blow. He may already be dead, we don't know. It may be that actually one of us was meant to die. If the editor has paid for a gladiator to die, he has paid a lot of money for that. We do know that there's some instances when gladiators could fake their own death. And so that gladiator has, in theory, died, but he then turns up at the next fight with a different look. The editor is probably going to feel like he got robbed, which he did. So instead, there's another character in the arena to check if the gladiator is alive or dead. That is the carer. Now the carer would come out with two bits of equipment. He would first of all come out with a red hot poker. And the idea would be that he would apply it to the gladiator's skin. Now it does not matter how tough you are, if somebody puts a red hot poker to you, you are going to scream. So we're going to say that our gladiator here is still alive. We might think he's dead, but he's still alive. I'm going to apply that red hot poker to his skin, and we're going to see if he screams or not. It's a pretty decent scream. There are also sometimes signs that a gladiator is close to death, or he is just deceased. For instance, arms might start twitching. His legs might start twitching. He may even pee himself. Are you good? Alright. Now that we know he's alive, we need to put him out of his misery. So Kieran would then use second tool, which is this big hammer. Now he's not striking to the legs, he's not striking to the chest, he's striking right here on the head. So, close your eyes to this because you don't want to necessarily see this. Is your family here? The two doctors. Put your hand up. Where are they? There, cool. Right, do you want to do it? Yeah? Okay. Right, so close your eyes a sec, you're not going to want to see this, alright? You are too keen. Right, what's going to happen is I'm going to give you this hammer and you're going to give him the best killing blow. Are you ready? And you're going to aim right there, okay? So we're going to count with her. On a count of 3, you're going to strike. You ready? Are you ready to count? 1, 2, 3, strike! The skull would be crushed, the brains would basically implode and it would well and truly be an ex-gladiator. But please, for our volunteer here, Davardis, please give him a massive round of applause. Okay, this then brings us to the main event. I'm now fighting properly. I am fighting my opponent of the Secretary, the typical opponent of a Retiaris. Now he and I have had a bit of a rivalry. He's won a few fights against me, I've won a few fights against him. We're going to settle it today with a fight to the death. So, please, without any other delay, let's give it up for Germanicus! What? What do you mean he's not coming? You alright? He's dead. Oh. Oh. Alright, well thank you everyone for coming, that's it. My opponent's dead. I win by default. I don't make the rules. There's no one else. The only... Huh? That's Slade. You only just trained her. Alright, well, do you wanna see me fight a woman? Are you sure?
Yes,
Alright. Nothing. Alright, fine. I do want to make one thing clear though to this. This is very out of the ordinary. Yes, there were female gladiators. They were very popular. They were very skilled. However, they did not compare to a professional trained male gladiator. It's because it wouldn't be a fair fight. I would not be fighting, let's be honest, the weaker sex. It's just how it was. Now, if you still want to see this, I'll try and make it as entertaining as possible. Let's get some of the pomp out of the way. Who thinks that this slave is going to win?
That's in Chichester voice.
Who thinks that I'm going to win? Yeah, I now know who the sexists are in the audience. Huh? Me! Alright, I'm going to take this off again. Our editor is, well, all of you actually can give the order for Gnate, and we will begin. this for years. This isn't fair, so I'll fight as my opponent does. I'll fight with a sword and shield instead.
energy, come on! 1, 2, 3! Last chance! 1, 2, 3!
Oh, that was a lucky shot from her, I'll give her that.